Hello guys, JimboPanda12 here, and today we are back with another Terraria 1.3.3 modding tutorial. And so what we did in the last episode is we implemented our very first item into the game. And this episode, our aim is to create our very first sword. So, that's what we're going to do. Let's get started. So, first thing you want to do, obviously, is have Visual Studio open like I have here. And like before, you want to go into items, but you want to actually right click the items folder, click add new folder, and call it weapons. Just like that, click enter, and then you want to click right click weapons, click new item, and this is just like adding our item from before, and let's just call this test sword.cs, and you'll obviously want it to be a class. All you need to do is go ahead and click add. Okay, so now once we have created this file, which we know you can see here, test sword, we want to go and head and edit it, sorry, just like we did with the test item here. So basically, you just want to copy this from the test item and just paste it like that, because we basically need the same things. And then what you want to do is you're going to go public class the sword name, and then the mod items like that. No, that's actually mod item. Then you want to hit enter and go public override void set default. So just like we did with the item, and we can basically just copy the same stuff. So obviously you want to change this to test sword, or the other name of your sword. You need to get rid of max stack size, because we don't need that. And then we also need to go item.set or just cs no, item.damage, and I'm going to go equals, and then however much damage you want. So I'm going to do 100, and then a semicolon, and then to make it do melee damage, I'm going to go item.melee 8 or melee is equal to true, and then just like that. And obviously you'll need to change these once we've created the texture. We can keep value and rare, and then we can change this to my epic modded item, epic modded sword. And then you can go ahead and save this file. But we also want to, like before, create a recipe for it. So you can just go ahead and copy the same recipe that we used in the test item. It won't really matter that it's the same recipe. So we just want to go ahead and save this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to here go over to paint.net, and we are going, we're going to design our sword. So if you hit new, you can make it any size you want. I might just go for 50 by 50, and just zoom in. And then like before, I'll just make the sword. And then, oh yeah, one thing I need to mention before I start: you want the sword to be facing like that. So you want this area up here to be the very tip of the sword, and this area down here to be the handle. Otherwise, it won't render correctly when you try to implement it into the game. So just get rid of that. So yeah, I'll speed this bit up, and yeah, I will see you when I've created my sword. Okay guys, we are back. As you can probably see from that sped up bit, I had a lot of issues in designing this because, yeah, stuff was out of proportion. I mean, this isn't the best looking sword by no means, but it'll do for now, so yeah, I'm going to go, like we did with the item, you want to go File, Save As, and then like we did before, you want to go to this PC, local disk, users, your name, documents, my games, Terraria, mod loader, mod sources, test mod, items, weapons, and then if you call it test sword, hit save again, and then you can see down here it says our size is 50 by 50. So all we want to go back to is Visual Studio, basically just change item width to 50 and item height to 50. Go ahead and save that. And yeah, everything should be working now. So we are going to go and launch Terraria. Okay, so Terraria has opened. Here we go. Terraria is just loading. It's like it should always say loading code, and then obviously you've got the stuff down here like I've been through several times. But yeah, so you just want to wait for this to load. I do have like a fairly big mob installed, which I'm going to get rid of because it's really big, and then it just take a while. Ooh, here we go. Okay, so like always, you want to go here and then just click build and reload. Then it should say compiling, building, and then just ignore this. Yours shouldn't come with this, and then that means we have got no errors. So here, if we go and play single player, let's go play me modding world. I just load into the world here. So now if we go into the crafting menu here, test sword. I mean, whoops, we forgot to change that for doing 1 damage, because at the moment it's doing. Oh, I know why. It's trying to think that this is an item because it's in the stack size. So we need to change that. So basically, I don't bother changing Terraria, closing Terraria. I mean. So I'm just going back to here. So let's just change to set recipe dot this. So it's basically the same, but we just want to get rid of this bit. Just yeah. Oh, I am a complete and utter idiot. Okay, so well, basically, I was only trying to use these couple of methods, but we actually need to use a lot more. So you want to head and use all of these. So use time, use animation, use style, knockback, value, rare, use sound, and auto reuse. Now I'll just leave this here. So all you want to add is just these underneath. There you go, and then you can just change it to obviously how you want. So let's just go ahead and build and reload this. And this now should work as a weapon. There we go, see? Now you can just swing it around like we would a normal weapon. And as you can see, you can just, like, I'm just holding my mouse down at the moment, and it is just constantly being used, so that's good. And then obviously it does 138 damage. Yeah, so that is very, very good. So now I'm gonna just show you how you can like add extra stuff to it. So say if you wanted it to say affect a mob with a buff when you hit it. So you go public override void on hit NPC. You just get rid of this. You don't need this. Target dot add buff and buff id dot, let's just say on fire, and then duration, so let's go 20, and then brackets there. And also you might want like dust kind of thing to come off it, like you saw on my my weapon. So if you just add above or below, doesn't really matter, public override void melee effects. There we go, that one. And you want to go if brackets main dot rand dot next bracket 3 is equal to 0. Okay, and you want to go brackets like that, and then just drop that down like that, so it looks nicer. And then int dust equals dust dot new dust bracket new vector 2 brackets hit hitbox dot x. You can just I'll actually what might be easier if I just link I'll just put these bits of code in the description, just so you guys don't have to just write the whole thing out. Oh, there's an error here. Full stop. There we go. And then we can just go dust id dot let's go confetti. So now every time we swing it, it should like give out the confetti dust effect. So we'll just go here, build and reload. You have to do this every single time you make changes to the code, otherwise the changes won't actually be implemented into the game. Let's go play, and go ahead to your sword. And as you can see, it sort of gives off a blue kind of confetti effect, which kind of looks like a bit like ice. And so we should try to see if we can actually find a mob to kill. Just my luck, there's no. Oh, here's one. Okay, we can't actually see if that inflicted on fire, but you can also set. Oh, look, there's a mob. That's actually my customer. See, look, it affected it with on fire. So see, on fire, and obviously it has the blue particle effects like we set it to have. So yeah, basically that is about it for this tutorial. You can play around with all these settings if you want. You can change the auto reuse, the sound, which I'll go over in another video, the knockback value, the animation, the time. You always want use style to be like that. So sword, mess around with the damage, and then obviously you can make a much better texture than mine. But that is basically how to make just a default sword, but with also some special properties as well. So that's going to be it for this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next Terraria modding video. Goodbye!